can work to reduce your draw to something you don't want to have in your life.
Good morning, Professor. Today I'm going to talk about addiction. So what is addiction? It is a condition when a person is repeatedly and habitually doing one thing again and again, and in spite of doing its harmful effect. So this is addiction, and it usually affect the your brain activities. So people can be physically addicted to the drugs, meaning if they know very well they are suffering from the different drug, and if they try to quit the drugs, they have to face the harmful consequences. Also, addiction can be physiological, addicted to drugs like gambling or other behaviors.
Addiction goes to your pleasure center.
So these are the types of addictions: codependency, food and eating, gambling, sex, love, work, shopping, debit, internet, and games. These are types of behavior addictions.
So when you look at these addictive behaviors, note that different societies support in their culture different addictions, right? Things that make people feel good, different societies. And a lot of you come here, I've heard it said by many international students, whoa, in North America, do you guys ever addicted to shopping? It's what you do for fun. That's an addiction, guys. It's not a healthy thing, it's an addiction.
And even taking selfies also.
Yeah, yes? Yeah, no, any of that. And it stimulates it. So when you're looking at the addiction, we can go, oh yeah, I'm not addicted to drugs. Then you go, oh, maybe games. Yeah. Maybe shopping. Ooh, for me, maybe work. Yeah. How many hours makes it an addiction? Yeah. So note that.
In behavior addiction, it does not involve any substance because it is controlled by your nerve.
But it does the same thing in your brain. Still an addiction. It goes to your pleasure center in your brain.
There was a news on CTV two or 3 days ago. A woman fell off from the bridge while taking selfie.
She was women, that's why.
What? What? Ouch! Out of the class! Yeah. You know, so we can be addicted to many things. So, you know, instead of going, oh, I'm not addicted, I don't need to listen to this. Some of us use things in excess. And as soon as we're not choosing, then we're addicted.
These are certain addictions to substances: alcohol, tobacco, drugs, hypnotic, sleeping pills, cocaine, inhalants, and marijuana.
What's the last one? I can't.
Marijuana and
Now, remember, you can be addicted to prescribed drugs too.
Yes. Sleeping pills.
There are various causes of addiction, so we cannot blame a single reason. So addiction is caused due to stress, bad grades, love breakup.
Mean I can blame my ex-husbands?
Feeling of winning or loss, trying to get away, age, environmental factor, lack of friends, poor performances, depression, and some genetic factors. So effects of addiction behavior. When a person is addicted, so there are a lot of changes in his behavior. He's lying to his family, he's stealing money from his home, and
The secrets. So again, even when you go, it doesn't have to be drugs, but even if you go, no, I'm not playing my game, dear. I'm doing something else. As soon as you know you're lying about something,
yes,
look inside yourselves, right? It doesn't have to be. Yeah.
not fulfilling responsibility, missing school or work, avoiding eye contact.
Big time.
So effects of addiction are emotional. Where people get emotional, they like the symptoms are like anxiety, depression, tension, and no interest in any activity. So some physical warning signs of drug abuse: bloodshot eyes, large pupils, changes in appetite, sleep patterns, sudden weight or loss or gain, body tremors, slurred speech, and bad breathing. What is smoking? Madam, smoking refers to the inhalation and exhalation of fumes that are produced from tobacco or by cigarettes or from pipes. Smoking is an addiction. Smoking is more harmful than cocaine or heroin. And
No, it is more addictive. Realize what we smoke in cigarettes is not tobacco. What we've allowed them to put into cigarettes is not just tobacco. Right? We have allowed that. And it is as hard to break. So, you know, when you walk by the people, the students that are smoking, you can go, ugh, but it is hard to break as an addiction to heroin.
But also, smoking increases the rate of heart attacks, strokes, and narrowing of blood vessels, constriction, and there are about 4,000 chemicals that are present in it.
Yeah, yeah. When you look at what, yeah. Ooh.
Smoking in pregnancy. But smoking during pregnancy causes premature births, or the weight of the baby is very low, or maybe he or she is suffering from some genital defects. It also increases the risk of complications. So, problems of ear, nose, and throat, obesity, diabetes, respiratory conditions. Nicotine causes a blood vessel and development of plaque, which leads to the risk of heart attacks. And smoking, like the smoke of the cigarette usually take about 10 seconds to reach the brain.
So this is, the nicotine is the tobacco.
Yes.
Not everything else they add, but the tobacco itself causes this, and then there's everything else they add to it.
So this is counseling and addiction. But counseling is a way to get rid or to prevent from addiction. So usually what happened in this counseling, we try to invite people who are suffering from different types of addiction and listen their problems and help them by giving some suitable treatment physically or maybe by some drugs. So one of this cognitive behavior therapy. In this therapy is usually used to treat the people who are suffering from anxiety, depression, or like tension. So the main aim of this therapy is to teach the people so that they can recognize when they are recognize that situation when they are most likely to drink. And its two main components are functional analysis and skill trainings. Its other approaches are rational emotional behavior therapy, rational behavior therapy, rational living therapy, and cognitive therapy and dialectic behavior therapy.
So, can you just go back 1 sec? Sorry. So note that both the naturopathic doctors are trained in counseling. Other than that, in Western medicine, you would go for cognitive behavior therapy to a psychologist, right? So there's two places you can get them. One would be the naturopath and one would be the psychologist. Normally, a regular medical doctor here will not do cognitive behavioral therapy with you, but they will send you on. But note, psychologists, you pay. Okay? If you can get to a psychiatrist, that's covered, but a psychiatrist, most psychiatrists, unless they're doing deep therapy, will not do cognitive behavior. So what we've done is we've taken it out of the healthcare system. Don't know why, but it's, yeah.
And these are some benefits of cognitive therapy. It provides support network, cost-effective and gradual steps, continuing of normal activities, enhancement of self-esteem, learning to resist peer pressure.
So there's cognitive and there's, what's the other one? they've added, cognitive is the one, they've added another one to it now. But if you go to Odin Bookstore, if you looking at this or you know somebody's looking, Odin Bookstore has wonderful manuals for the behavioral therapy. It's a psychology bookstore and it's got wonderful manuals. So if you can't go to a counselor, you can go and work through really good didactic or cognitive processes. Okay?
Madam, next is detoxification. Detoxification is a process which is used to remove out the chemical or toxin substances from of the body, and is usually carried out by the liver. So usually what happens in this process, like it is a step which is going on to withdraw the harmful substances from the body, and detoxification can be achieved by the decontamination of poisonous injection and the use of antidotes. When in this way toxin enters our body through lungs, skin, gut, and affects our liver, and in the same way it is excreted through our skin, kidney, colon, and lungs. Residential therapy. This is one of the most important therapy to prevent the addiction. So usually what happens in this therapy, it gives a chance to the people so that they can take away from the daily routine life and lives a life and change in the
Okay,
environment.
so you go to camp, you go away in a totally controlled environment. So a lot of people are, go for this. We often hear of movie stars going to the different ones for alcohol or whatever. And all it is you're enclosed in a totally safe environment. We had an issue with one of our mayors of Toronto was supposedly into one. Of course, he just had the drug people drop off at the therapy session. But, there's ways to get around it if you don't want to, but yeah.
Residential treatment facility. A change in scenery is often the best way to push the reset button on your life. Stepping away from the daily habits which reinforce substances, abuses work wonders towards a healthy recovery. Individual therapy. In this therapy, the addicted person get the face-to-face interaction with one of the counselor or the therapist, because maybe if he is in with other people, maybe he's feeling shy and not comfortable. So he tells his problem to the counselor, and the counselor gives him best advice, like how can he get rid from the
Yeah.
addiction. Group therapy is another treatment for addiction. So as the name suggests, like group therapy, a lot of people are sitting in a room and maybe like 1 or 2 or 3 experts are there. So people get interaction with each other and they are feeling comfortable. They try to tell their problem, their addiction problem. So and it also increases their positivity towards the way of their
It gives them
development.
social support. So normally, even if you go individually for something like this, you end up at the end in a group. Because the social support, knowing people who are trying to live the same way you are, is really, really important. If you think you're the only one, it's much harder for you to deal with the addiction.
Foods to eat and foods to not to eat. Whole foods, whole grain, fiber, protein, fat, fruits, vegetable, meat, seafood. And foods to avoid sugar, processed food, white flour, hydrogenated oils, additive, high fructose corn syrup.
There's research on the brain that shows that sugar, which originally was used as a real treat, and we put it into all our foods, the sugar goes to the addictive center of your brain. My morning coffee is my addiction. I don't know why I don't go to tea. I don't put sugar in tea, but my one drink with sugar in it is my coffee, right? That's an addiction. That's a sugar addiction. And so the more, what you've done is you've come over here and you have more processed foods with more sugar in it. You will be having established in your body more of a sugar addiction than when you were back home in pure foods. And so each one of you, as you went to American food, most likely started feeding a sugar addiction. Be aware of it. Honey, agar, it doesn't matter. All those sweeteners do the same thing. Brown sugar, white sugar. Sugar is supposed to be just a little bit, not your main food source.
And as he told that smoking is more addictive than cocaine and heroin, and sugar is more addictive than cocaine and heroin.
That's right.
The brain receptors.
The brain receptors is something. Yeah.
Herbal medicine backed for recovering from addictions. It includes a clean diet, lean proteins, complex herbs, plenty of fruits, vegetables, low fat and little or no sugar. Also vitamin C, selenium, zinc, golden seal, dandelion, skullcap, valerian, passion flower, American ginseng, Siberian, astragalus, etc. But these are herbal medicines. Addiction recovery program. But in addiction recovery program, there is a team of multidisciplinary counselors or therapists is there, and its main aim is to create a healing environment by utilizing a holistic approach that produces a culture-free lifestyle, free from addiction, and restores a cultural lifestyles. These are some benefits of exercises for addiction recovery. Exercises help to reduce stress, restore regular sleep patterns. Exercise is fun. It eases symptoms of depression. It helps a person to be social with the right people. Regular exercise is a way to combat boredom. Conclusion, madam, we all know very well that how harmful is addiction. So, if we want to live a healthy life, good life, social life, and we want our children to be happy always, our family, madam, we have to quit this addiction today. And
Yes, you do. And you have to watch, what you have to understand is food production in the world is done for mass production and mass consumption. Have you looked, how many of you have traveled to the States and ordered a dinner?
Yeah.
Right? You go and you have, which giant pop will you have with your dinner? Right? Enough sugar to drown anything, right? You have to watch, because as they went for mass production, they went for mass addiction. So, the fat-free food is sugar-laden food. They went for mass addiction, and the governments allowed it.
They are now trying to tax some sugar foods, processed foods,
Yeah.
to try to do as this cigarette.
Yes.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
some.
But they allowed the food industry to do that.
Yeah.
It's money.
It was money. It was the money-driven food industry, mass-produced. And you know, like it or not, when you start reading your labels, because I've been reading labels for 40 years, being a celiac when nothing was there, right? You notice those things right away, but they're very subtle for most people.
Yeah.
Most people don't, and they didn't, you know, they go, well, why do you do that? We're going, well, have you looked at the label? The other one, it's all sugar. And they, why would I read the label? Over and over again. And it's very subtle addiction. And you come in here, you're going, oh, I like this. And you will subtly see that they've been adding these things into you. So if you're not feeling as healthy as you were back home, if you're having things, you know, the yeast is not often sugar.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I started reading labels 3 years ago, and I think that even in my back home, there are a lot of sugar in our food.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's cheaper and
Mass production put in sugar, and or bad fat. And it's all using, for some reason, society made cigarettes legal. And they made adding addictive, deadly drugs to cigarettes legal. I can't quite figure that out, but And that's just entered in the food product. Well, they can do it, we can do it. Okay? So know when you're no longer of choice. What do I mean by that? When you have a habit, when it's, I have this every day, no, because that means you're not in choice, and that could mean you've got a start of an addiction happening versus being in choice. Yes, I want this. Yes, I'm treating myself to this. Or I need my sugar. There's two different things. Or I need my smoke. Or I need, as soon as there's I need, you're in trouble. And if you don't give the brain what it takes to feel good, what were the symptoms? Remember, it was depression. If the brain's going, I can't cope without this. I'm used to this stimulus. Where is my feel good?
Yeah, even I was doing research for another course, and it says in North America, 50% of the calorie intake for adolescents is coming from sugary beverages.
Yeah.
So
I
they,
mean,
yeah, like
God, that's bad, guys.
normal person usually require 1200 to 1400 calories per day, and like 600 or 700 they are taking from sugary beverages.
Yeah. So don't follow our pattern. It's really unhealthy. And it feeds an addiction, which means it's harder for you to choose. Thank you.
And these references.